We are back with another episode of Middle-Aged Mamas. I'm John, Nakia. Camila's under the weather, but we have a fabulous guest for you guys today. Alexis is here. I will give you her bio in a minute, but I have to throw something quickly out to you guys because while I was getting dressed, I was really missing my skinny jeans.
Oh,
and I'm like, are skinny jeans in or out? Can we get a consistency on this? Because Abby, my 15-year-old daughter, is always like, Mom, no. Put those jeans on.
Well, we cannot take advice from people who only wear pajama pants to school. And leggings, pajama pants, and midriffs.
Right.
And you know, I'm of the generation that leggings are not pants.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
You don't have on leggings, do you?
No, I almost wore some.
Okay,
I'm so glad Jesus told me
to
put on
that judgy Dawn was going to be. That judgy Dawn.
Were you going to tell me I was in tights?
I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah, she just would have given you a look.
I would have just given you the...
See, the Lord led me to some sweatpants.
Wait a minute. So can we still wear them? Because I feel like these damn baggy, boxy pants are not accentuating the good stuff, the curves. I feel like a frump.
Really?
Yes.
I would wear skinny jeans if I could fit in mine. I can't. I need some medium jeans, like some pudgy jeans.
Right.
Some muffin top jeans.
You look so good. But those skinny jeans, I guess it just depends on where they fall. Because, you know, if it's the kind that you can tuck something into, I need like tuckable skinny jeans.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's not that part, it's the legs, because the baggy legs just make you feel so frumpy now.
Oh,
I have about 5 or 6 pair of the new cooler jeans, and every time I wear them, I'm like, I don't feel like sexy or cute, but I put on a pair of skinny jeans, and I feel like throw on a pump and make it cute. I don't know, Khloe Kardashian still wears.
Listen,
well, Kardashian can wear whatever she want to wear.
That's true.
But is it in or out, for real?
I don't know. Listen.
What do you wear?
I don't know.
When you put on a pair of jeans, what do you wear?
I don't wear jeans anymore. I done told you I can't fit them. I stay away from things that make me sad. I stay away from things that make me sad. I wear a lot of leggings.
Okay. Are you going to work out?
I am going to work out how I'm feeling that day. I'm going to work out my meals. I'm going to work out how to pick our kids up from school. Yes, I'm working shit out.
It's not exercise attire.
Listen,
what I'm
no, it's not. I'm going through my midlife body attire, and I need to. I'm gonna bring you some leggings. I'm gonna bring you some leggings, and we're gonna have a little moment, and you're gonna see when they lift your booty up.
Ooh,
but when you're going out to dinner, I know you go out to dinner. I know you have things that you attend. What are you putting on?
I wear a dress.
Okay, so a dress.
Yeah,
so,
I'll probably throw in a little. Okay,
so then as far as casual attire, then it's leggings and stuff like that.
No, I mean, like I have on sweats today. I'm quick to put on one of my boyfriend's sweatsuits too.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm out there like a man. Either I'm
braless and all, right?
Either I'm in leggings and my booty is lifted and I'm cute, or I'm a full bum. There's no in between.
Okay, gotcha.
I love a good booty lift. So do they have to be the special ones? Because the ones that I don't like are the ones that have like the extra seams and thing around. What is?
Oh, the leggings?
What is
we have to show her some of my Instagram posts.
Do you wear those?
And with all that, the ones that drive me crazy are those TikTok ones, or the ones that always jump on my feet. Yeah, where it looks like you have a Murphy.
I have those
too.
Are
those sexy? Are those the ones that pull up the booty?
Listen,
I feel like those are for people who don't have booty, and you have booty.
I do have booty, but how real can we get on this podcast?
We get very real.
You get my boyfriend and I have. Whatever. But those days when you wear the scrunch booty leggings, it's just a different level of
sexiness.
It's just a different level of bring your ass to bed.
Oh, so that's okay. So that's kind of like a lingerie type.
But that's for home. It's for home. You wear it out.
It's the prep. It's the all day of him like
teasing all day.
See, maybe that's what I need, because I was getting dressed today and I was full on naked, right? And my husband was in the bed watching the game, and I said, "Why aren't you looking at me?" in my nakedness. I was full
wait a
on,
minute.
like leg up on the bed, putting my
your
lotion on. Like
You rubbing all
you,
super
like
sexy.
you missing out on all this. And he looked over. He was like, I see it.
He just took a mental note.
And then he kept looking. But then when I have on these beautiful lacy thongs right now. So then I was like, let's breathe in. And he was like, I see the panties.
Yeah, you just need a little bit of
Like
acknowledgement.
I needed a little something. Like this game is not. These women up here playing basketball. There's so much more going on.
Right. Come check me out.
Here.
That's
right.
so hilarious.
So that's what I need.
Get
I
you
need the
some scrunch
booty. Scrunch booty.
Okay.
But does it offer support to lift? Are those the lifters?
I think
No,
there
it
are
looks
some
like you're
that have
you
that,
have a
but-
Murphy all day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It does.
But
Because it causes, like,
I'm working with something, so I
hemorrhoids
think that if I throw a pair of those on,
You don't
my
need
husband will be
extra
like,
lift.
I think to go outside, I'll put a sweatshirt on, and then, well, how am I going to run around with the kids?
Your kids are grown.
Your kids ain't gonna be looking at your booty.
They're not gonna be looking at you like, look at mom
Pull it
looking
out.
sexual.
Right, pull it out. Okay,
Right.
no taking, got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Skinny
I'm gonna get
jeans,
some.
we're still on the fence
We're still on
about,
the fence.
but get you some good
But
sexy
scrunch booty
leggings.
leggings.
Okay.
Very
All right, so we got to get to our guests. You guys, I've always led with the fact that I'm a mom, middle-aged mom, 2 sets of twins, yada, yada, yada. But what you don't know about me is that along with my parents' divorce, which I've talked about several times on the podcast, came a beautiful, beautiful blended family. And when your parent marries someone that's right for them, it works. And for us, it has worked. I gained 2 wonderful sisters. I met Alexis Fields when she was 11 years old.
I followed her around everywhere.
She was 11, I was 17, so she moved into our family house, and we were
Aw.
instant family.
Yeah.
So I invited her to come on the pod because now she's actually a middle-aged mother. I can't
Yes.
believe it. It took her forever to be 40. But she's middle-aged, but still fabulous, and has a long career in the business. So we just want to get into you
Oh God.
and what actually, I don't think I've even ever asked you these questions.
Like we don't
What
talk about it.
made you want to get into the business? Is it because Kimmy was already there, or did you want to be an actor? How did this all come about?
I'm surprised you don't know this, but I didn't want to do it. I didn't think about it. I mean, I naturally would be with our mom when she was doing plays and things like that, and on set with her, and Kimmy when she was doing Living Single. But I actually wasn't thinking about it as a career. And then mom got a call one day from Eileen McKnight, a casting director, one of the greats, and she called mom and said, "Is your youngest acting?"
Really?
And mom was like, "No." And she was like, "Well, you know, there's a role coming up on a sitcom called Rock. And they wanted the girl from Life with Mikey, but something was happening. It was a movie back in the day, but something was happening with that. And so they were looking for someone to play Heavy D's daughter. And so she was like, can she audition? You know, she was just pulling together, you know, people. She was like, can she audition? And my mom was like, I'll ask her if she wants to.
Wow.
And so mom asked me, and I was like, okay, like, whatever. And so mom coached me. And
The best acting coach on earth.
And what's funny is I still remember some of those lines.
Really?
But yeah, I do.
Wow.
But and I don't remember lines from like a month ago on All American, but I remember that. And so,
It's poignant.
so yeah, and so not that All American isn't poignant. No, but yeah, and so I auditioned and I booked it, and after
Wait,
that,
your first audition, you booked the part.
I booked the part.
That's awesome.
Chip Fields was my acting coach, y'all.
Right? The greatest acting coach on earth.
Wow.
That's crazy. And then the rest, as they say, is history. So did you feel pressure
No.
going on to set, having your first acting role? You were just like, oh, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it.
It was just like, I got the role, I'm showing up. I was nervous because especially on Rock, you're dealing with Charles Dutton, Ella Joyce, Rocky Carroll, Carl Gordon. Like you're dealing with all these thespians, right? So I'm like, what am I doing here? You know, I'm just trying to remember my lines, hoping I don't fuck up. That's up.
You are over 40. It's okay.
But so, you know, I'm like, I'm trying to just keep up.
Right.
But there wasn't pressure because of mom or
Your
Kim.
family.
Yeah, no. I never felt that. I never felt like I have to live up to that. I think that came from me later in my life.
Right. And that says a lot, because going out at what, 11, 12 years old, that's big shoes to step into, and you just hit it out the park.
Yeah, but I don't think mom really wanted me to do it. I think she wanted to protect me from it, and now I understand that as Casey wants to do it, and she just did her first job, and I'm like, that's it. Like, you got a little taste. And
But having Kimmy being such a huge success, why do you think she didn't want you to jump in there?
I think mom understood, because Kim went through so much. She was under a microscope for so long, and especially with her weight and things, and people talking about her, like growing up and experiencing, puberty and all of the things in the public eye. You can't just be a normal kid.
Right.
And so I think my mom just feared I would experience some similar things. So I think she was just nervous about that, but it didn't go that way. It was just I didn't even think I was gonna book other things. It kind of felt like every job was like, I'm just here and I'm not sure why I'm here. Even, Alex Mack and Sister and Keenan and Kel, all of the shows, it was like, okay. It just kind of happened as it happened. I never felt like there was an expectation of me.
So did you look at it more as a hobby per se, that this is something fun to do, or were you trying to build a career as an actor?
I don't think I looked at it as either. I think I looked at it as my life. It was just my childhood. I was just, because I was with other young people most of the time, except for on Rock. But all the other shows, everybody was older than me on like Sister, Keenan, Kel, and Alicia. But I still was around young people. So it was just like, this is our childhood. We didn't know anything different.
Right.
And so we, they were some of my closest friends. Like Tia and Tamara and I were really close. So, and Brandy and I were really close. So when we would work, it was like we were with our friends.
Right.
We got to do so many interesting things on the show. Like we're doing routines. We thought on Sister in particular, we thought we were the Spice Girls, okay? So tell me what I want. So we were always performing. I think about it now, like that crew probably went home every day, like these fucking kids. Because listen,
you guys will wear them out.
We had routines and stuff, but that's why, like when they ended up we did a Can't Hurry Love episode where we, were the Supremes and stuff. I think that they saw how we naturally were on set, and we were always doing that, making up dances and stuff like that. So we really had like our childhood kind of on set.
So then how did you handle disappointment? Because back then, it was a lot of competition. Well, it's always been a lot of competition, but I remember that Rock, the character you played on Rock, wasn't Moesha supposed to be about
Nobody
you? That was written for you. Fun fact, right?
I've never said that.
I mean, let me know.
I don't even think Brandy knows this. I've never said
wow.
Well, it was, I think that they were inspired
by your character.
By my character. I don't know that I'd say it was written for me. I don't want to put anything on anybody. But yeah, when I went in to meet with Ralph Farquaad and Sarah Finney, no, it wasn't Sarah. It was, I don't remember, but it wasn't Sarah. But when I went in to meet with them, it was, I think I was just too young. And I remember saying to them, I remember asking if they were going to see Countess Vaughn for the role of Kim, because Countess had played my friend on Rock. And not saying I had anything to do with it, but I just remember vividly, like when I read the script, thinking Countess would be great for Kim, which she was, obviously. But yeah, so nobody knows that. I've never seen
It's just an interesting fact though, because that character was developed, wanting to know more about the inner city. That was where you were coming from, and it took off to be this huge hit. And then you went back and played a friend on that show. So that's
and Brandy,
cool.
I mean, it was just perfect timing for Brand, because she was literally
rise.
like, I Want to Be Down, I think had just dropped. She had done Thea, so she was developing this audience, and she was just, it was the perfect time, and she was on the rise. And so when a lot of people also don't know, when I ended up going back, I say going back, but when I ended up doing Moesha, it was supposed to be a one-off. They, the character, the actress who played Niecy, Shar Jackson, she actually, they were doing a Lucy episode, a I Love Lucy, like throwback episode. And she got what did happen? She got a concussion or something. I think that's what happened. But she ended up like hitting her head and got a concussion.
Like in real life? Or
yeah.
I was all into the story.
No.
Okay.
No, this is in real life. Shar. And so I think that's what happened. And at the last second, they were looking for someone to play this character, Lola Vavoom, which Shar was going to play in it. And so they did the auditions. Did you just fall down the stairs?
No.
You can tell she's comfortable. She just went straight out.
Start that story over.
No, we gotta leave that
William
in.
is
No
supposed to be
edit.
behind the scenes, but he is never behind the scenes.
He wasn't behind the scenes. He was under the scenes as he tumbled down the
He's
stairs.
falling down the stairs.
Oh, you slid?
He tumbled.
That's
We're
funny.
using all our synonyms today.
So they were scrambling, trying to find somebody to.
Vocabulary.
That's hysterical. You should put like a list of all of the synonyms for fall. So anyway, so she, they were scrambling trying to find somebody, and it was one of those, we came in and auditioned and you found out like the same day. And so I came in and I auditioned and they were like, yes, you need to go to the choreographer now. So it was like, as soon as I left the audition, I went over to the choreographer to learn the routines, and then I ended up being on the show for 2 years. But that was supposed to just be a one episode moment.
Yeah, because you have those chops.
I don't know. It just, timing, and I think the way that everyone was so gracious on that set. I do remember Brandy.
Yeah.
And Brandy especially was, I ad-lib a lot. And so, especially on Moesha and now on All American, probably the shows I ad-lib. No. When I did Bernie Mac, he encouraged it too.
Oh.
But I was so scared. I'm jumping all over the place. But
No,
on that one,
we love it.
I was so scared. Because, here I'm standing next to the Bernie Mac, y'all, right?
Epitome of
the Bernie
ad-libber.
Mac. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I'm just trying to remember my lines and get through it. And he was like, baby girl, like, feel free to do whatever you want. He was like, have fun, like, go for it. He's like, come at me. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And so I think I ad-libbed a couple things, but I was still too scared. But so I ad-lib a lot, and Brandy always was like, girl, do what you do.
It.
Like,
She seems like a girl's girl.
Yeah, she was very, very encouraging, and still to this day will be like, you're Alexis Fields, and I'm like, bitch, you're Brandy. Like,
But it's nice to hear like all of this good stuff that happens, because you don't always hear that.
Yeah.
You hear, all the bad stuff that's happening, how people really don't get along, and how the adults are not encouraging and supporting. So that's good. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, and I think people have had different experiences with, we all there. I'm sure there are stories about me out there that, where I wasn't on my best behavior.
But you're a child. I mean,
I was a child.
You get a pass for that. You're not grown acting a fool.
Yeah, I could probably blame it on that.
But okay, so speaking of that, stories with all this crazy. What is that new documentary out? The Secret or whatever, the Dan Snyder thing. You were a Nickelodeon actress.
Yeah, I was on the Dan Snyder show.
Which one was
Say
that?
3 times. That's Kenan and Kel. He was a producer on. He wasn't an EP, but he was. Was he an EP? I don't remember.
Okay, so it seems you hear on social media and all over the news that it's so prevalent, but they always pull out the crazy stories. Right. Can you shed light on a normal environment for kids on set? It's not.
I didn't
where,
experience that.
Right. It's not where there's people lurking around waiting to grab your kid and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the media hypes it up to be that, and
Absolutely.
That does happen, but that's not the norm across the board.
So, there's two things I definitely want to say. I want to make sure that people who are putting their kids in the industry or have their kids in the industry exercise the utmost caution, because when you are dealing with an industry where your children grow up very quickly and are put in very adult situations and are often beholden to whatever the creators create, right? And often feel like because the creators are their guides on paper, it's hard to turn that off when you're off script or offset, right? So you still honor those people and listen to what those people have to say. So I think it's very important that parents are aware and present so that their kids are protected. I don't want to take away from anybody's story because I don't know what happened, and I want to make sure that me saying what I experienced doesn't take away from the reality of their situation. But, you know, fortunately for me, I never experienced that. I mean, I experienced things with producers, you know, trying to talk to me or flirting with me off of, you know, which is interesting because my boyfriend's a producer and he didn't come at me like that. But yeah, so I experienced some crazy stuff later.
As a kid or as an adult?
When I was like 18, 19.
Okay.
I mean, I was still young and they were older.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't like, I didn't have a crazy experience like that. But I also think there was a lot of respect from my family.
That's what I was wondering.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
so,
true.
And you know, on Kenan and Kel, my sister was one of the directors on the show. So
so they weren't gonna step to you with some foolishness.
Yeah, but I never saw that kind of crap with Kenan and Kel or, you know, anything like that either. So I don't know, you know, I can say for me, we didn't have that going on that I experienced or that I witnessed. And again, you know, I had family close by.
Yeah, I remember I used to drive you to the, what was it, the Secret World of Alex Mack in Santa Clarita, and sit there and wait for her and, you know, look out for you. Those were fun times. So you are a true creative. Like across the board. She can draw, she can paint, she can design houses. The wood wall that you see featured behind her is brought to you by Alexis herself.
I need you to come to my house. I forgot about your wall.
Yeah, many talents, but you seem to always go back or end up acting.
Yeah.
So what draws you back? Is it roles? Do they come calling? Do you just wake up and say, hey, I want to act today?
It's kind of more of that. I'm very, very finicky about auditioning because I'm so bad at it, y'all. I am the worst auditioner ever.
Really?
Oh my God. I don't know. I'm like, hello, how are you? I can't. It's so awkward and uncomfortable. Like,
really?
Yeah, and sometimes like I'll go to mom to help me with an audition, like to be my reader, because you have somebody read with you, right? And mom's ass will be out acting me. I'll be like, hey kid, you're gonna have to tone it down. You can't be out acting me from off camera.
Right, and they look like twins.
We're not gonna do that because here I am sounding like blah blah blah. And she's like a da 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 da, and she's all crying off screen. I'm like, hey, this is, and I know they get the auditions like, who's that in the back?
She can't help herself.
Such a show off. Jeez.
So you're recording the audition.
Yeah, you have to film it. So now it's mostly self-tape. You can request to go in.
But you go in at the end, like when it's the final, right? Yeah.
Yes.
That seems less stressful though. That you're not like recording and you're not like in a room full of old white men. That's just what I'm picturing. You know.
Sometimes. But for me, it's the rush of it is the audience. That's
right, and the reaction. Yeah.
Because I've always been, and I've had some bad auditions in person too. Don't get me wrong, but I've always been. I was always on sitcoms, so we were doing 4-camera with an audience present. So I kind of fed off of the energy of the audience.
Okay.
Yeah, understandable.
So,
yeah. Because when we have our live audience, we got live audience.
William,
let's look
at
when William decides to slide in,
tumble in. No, I don't necessarily like when we have.
You don't? You feel
I'm shy.
Oh God! Stop! We need that shirt.
Because you're shy.
You're not shy.
And so I get distracted.
You're never shy.
I do. I am.
Shut up with the ear. I am shy.
Okay, so the audition
This is so
process.
weird. I thought we were gonna shoot the shit, and you're asking me questions about me, and I'm like, what?
Let's shoot it. What shit would you like?
We'll get into all that. Listen. But inquiring minds want to know. You don't speak a lot on your past and things like that.
Yeah.
People are interested, so we want to get that out the way.
Hi. No. But yeah, so what was I talking about? I just lost my train of thought.
You were talking about, I was saying you get drawn back to acting.
Oh, yes.
How that happens.
So I don't audition a whole lot, but when things do happen, I ended up doing a pilot a couple of years ago for ABC, and that kind of, I didn't expect to do it. It came again out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Didn't think I would book it. Didn't think, and the role I was going out for, I didn't book. I didn't think I was right for it anyway, but it was to play, and I love her, so I have to mention this. And I love the actress who got the role. They were doing a take on pastors Sarah Jakes, Sarah Roberts Jakes, and Touré Roberts, Pastor Touré. And so I was auditioning to play. Leslie Odom was starring in it. Love you, Les. I said it like he's gonna be watching. He's gonna be watching.
Yeah.
But
we'll
yeah,
tag him.
Leslie. No. So so we I auditioned for it and was like, what am I doing here? Especially because it was to play this woman of God, and I was the furthest thing. I was like this heathen, like on my Instagram, like ew. I erased all of those before the audition. I was like, let me take up all of them. But anyway, and so I auditioned and didn't get it, but they came down at the audition. They came down and asked me if they were to make the character, the ex-wife, a series regular. If they made it a series regular for me, would I take the role? And I was like, yes. Like, what do you mean? I've never had that happen at an audition before. And the fact that ABC and Leslie and Kerry Washington and Saladin Patterson saw fit, it just was such a blessing. So that got me back into it.
Yeah.
And then after that, when that didn't get picked up, we were all like in shock.
Yeah, because that was,
it seemed like it was a no-brainer. Like,
yeah.
I'm thinking, I know I don't watch TV much, but
yeah,
I'm sure I would.
You're like, where's that show? What's it
come on? We were all in shock. And Kelly Jenrette, I want to shout out Kelly because she's my sister and I love her so much. She ended up playing the character. Her name was Hope which is Sarah means hope. But her name was Hope in the show. But yeah, so we did that. It didn't go, and we were all devastated. And I got a call for an audition. My manager called me and he was like, it's a guest spot. It's a show. It's just a one-off show called All American. I was like, what's All American? And he was like, it's on Netflix, and so I was like, well, let me binge a couple episodes. I watched the whole first season, and I was like, yeah, I'll audition for this. And he was like, it's a zany character. I'll send over the sides. And I read it, and I was like, okay. And this was actually my last in-person audition before everything started going sideways with COVID. And so it's so funny watching William Creek. He's like 6'15", 6'15", right. And he's like,
Alexis gonna call you out.
He's like, what was that cartoon character who's like?
He's this big dude trying to like tiptoe.
She gonna get her brother-in-law. She's a true little sister.
I am. I love Brooke though. He knows I love him.
That is too funny.
So I got the call. I was like, okay, yeah, went in and I auditioned and I booked it. And again, that was I think the second season. Now we're going into the 6th season. I'll actually go to work tomorrow. But
and that was another one where it was supposed to be a quickie, and then those chops came in and swooped it up.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Thank you. But yeah, so it's I don't know if it's that I call it or it calls me, but it's kind of this, this thing of like, I can't leave it alone. It can't leave me alone.
Right.
And so when God sees fit, it's like, all right, let's do this again.
Right. So now you went through puberty on camera.
I did.
And we always talk about the changes now that we're middle-aged. You just need to start plucking whiskers.
Listen, I got 3.
All kind of crazy nonsense. So now you're being in your middle age,
right? Now I'm playing older than I am on camera, which sometimes I got to remind myself, like, listen. I never thought I would be playing, Tay Diggs' age or like that's crazy. And now I'm like going after him, well, not now, but R.I.P. Billy Baker. His character passed away on the show.
Oh, okay.
If you haven't watched it, sorry. Maybe we should put a disclaimer. Wait, hold on. Let's insert this. Spoiler alert. If you have not watched All American in the last couple of years, go catch up before you continue the podcast.
So what is trickier, going through puberty or middle age on camera?
Puberty, because I wasn't at a space where I was comfortable with myself. And I didn't go through puberty as bad as some people have experienced it. But yeah, like now I'm kind of owning the wave, I'm owning the double chin and all this stuff. So it's kind of like, my midlife crisis is on my Instagram page. That's where, I have fun and I deal with a lot of the people who are fans of my mother and my sister, and they come to my page expecting me to be Tootie's little sister. They're in for a shock because
like, this is me.
Yeah. It's my freedom. It's my little way to and I'm an entertainer. You know what I mean? And I think people forget that. I'm still an actress, I'm still an entertainer. And so I'm very comfortable experiencing things in front of people. But I think when it comes to my body and when it comes to my sexuality, all of that was put on hold. Like they used to put me in extra tight bras and baggy clothes.
Confine her boobs, push them down.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now I told you, now I'm like, on the table. We're not wearing bras. Bra was that.
And free about it too.
I
thought only white people did that with itty bitty titty.
No, I am a proud 34 double D on the but what's funny is they won't like plop. They're still sitting. But anyway, I
have some ploppable ones.
Listen, nothing wrong with the ploppable. Your husband still can plop it in his mouth. He's happy. This is not that podcast, though. Join us for the After Dark.
The After Dark.
The After Dark of Mommy podcast. But no.
Okay, so you're free in your 40s,
I'm
basically.
free in my 40s.
And you can find that out on Instagram. Because I am one of those ones that's like, wait, my little sister, hold on, wait a minute. I just said to let it go.
Yeah.
Take your sister hat off.
Yeah, that's what you said that several times.
Take your sister hat off.
Yeah.
You know?
Because she's a grown adult and she's free in her 40s.
And I think it's important for people, however it doesn't have to be on Instagram. For me, it was important that was documented the same way my childhood was documented. And that my freedom was just as important as my confinement. But I think it's important for women, however they do it, behind closed doors, whatever, to explore their sexuality. The awkward moments, I have some posts I go back and I'm like, why was I dancing like that? Why did I make that face? But I won't delete them.
Oh, okay.
I won't delete them.
Because they're very sexy.
You've seen them?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're super
Look,
sexy.
now you want to cringe?
Right.
I'm like with you guys.
Sexy.
It's different when it's people I don't know.
But
well, obviously it's gonna be people you know too.
I know.
Right, but it's nice for me because even when I say that I'm shy and you don't believe me, I'm shy in that way too.
Yeah.
So even though I'm like putting my lotion on, I would never like do a little shake, even though he would love that. So I really
wait. You mean after all these years of marriage, you haven't done a little shake? You truly,
girl, you better let it out and plop them and shake it.
I'm just surprised.
So I love to see that in other women, to be very comfortable and free. I don't know where it came from for me. I don't know if it was church. I don't know if it was, I don't know.
We know.
That my grandmother was a minister and I really admired her. And so somewhere in there, I got that.
Yeah.
And it has carried on. Like I still owe my husband a lap dance from our honeymoon. Like I kept telling him.
Not the honeymoon, dog.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
How many years have you been married? You've been married longer than me.
Listen,
wait a minute.
Listen, I do.
What year did
we
you
have
get
been
married?
together for 30 years. This year We were together.
Not the 30-year-old lap dances.
Yeah, we were together.
Now you're gonna have to pull out Al Green for the lap dance.
Yeah, for 7 years before we got married, I kept telling them on the honeymoon. I thought I was just so fine on the honeymoon that my lingerie, like you better get these outfits, like you better get these 2 pieces. Like I thought that was like enough.
Oh God!
But I still, he will still bring.
Where my lap dance at?
He's brought it up. You gotta give Martin a little
I just feel so silly. Like I haven't been able to find like that inner sexy.
We need to take a pole dancing class,
right?
Like I do.
To let it out.
I want to be able to find it. And now that I'm saying I'm in my 50 and free, I want to be able to find that girl.
Yeah.
But she's in there. She's so deep. Like.
And that's okay
like,
too, though.
But so I admire, you know, even though my husband like, don't you be like to do it for him. But you look lovely. It's not like you're out there like some people are on there looking crazy as hell, like they need to put that stuff away. But yours is.
Thank you.
It's lovely.
But yeah, it was a struggle for me. Even like when I was married, you know, and Kevin and I, you know, we're still close.
Yeah.
But even when I was married, I would talk to him and ask him like, "Are you okay?" And he would be like, "Do what you gotta." I think he understood, and he always understood throughout our marriage that my life was different. Yeah, my life was just different. And so yeah, it was just something that I was discovering, and I needed to be comfortable enough with it, whatever it looked like. If it was a mess, if it was cute, if it was sexy, if it was like, what the fuck, I needed to be okay with it. And I needed to not care about what people thought, even though I'll get, you know, thousands of, you know, positive comments. And then I'll get the one who's like, you should be ashamed of yourself. And you know, but then.
Do you read the comments?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
And you respond too. And I remember you responded. It was really good. I think you wrote like a really long letter. Maybe to someone, I mean, just random, you know, but to someone saying, because she was talking about her self-esteem and you were expressing to her like, this is something that came over years. And so don't feel like because you see me as a celebrity that this is just how I've always felt.
Right.
And that this is, and so I think that part is good too, that people need that message because that's not something you don't just wake up feeling sexy like let me woo, 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 woo. No. You know, it's something that comes that you have to grow into that, especially for your self-esteem. And so I think it's nice when people do share that other side. Yeah,
I get a lot of DMs like that too.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not normally posted on the in my comments, but sometimes.
But you addressed it. You remember it was a while ago. But you addressed
I do know what you're talking about because I think I posted the actual comment too. But because I think, like I said, it's important. The journey is important because there's never really a destination. The destinations are little stopping points, right? Like whether it be career, whether it be parenting, whether it be sexy, you know, your sexuality. I think this life is just, it's a bunch of, you know, stopping points where we gain a little something along whatever the way is. But I'm growing and I need to be free with that. And I also want people to know, like, listen, I will put on a filter and be feeling myself. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there's this confidence that I'm gaining in my real everyday life where I'll put on the little scrunch booty pants and walk through wherever with my man. Right. You know? But what's so funny, you talk about lap dances, like with my man, I'm still a little shy. Like I do what I do, and once we do it, we do. But I do not want to encourage premarital things or anything. But for me, this is postmarital.
You are a mess. Who can you touch the baby in the family?
Postmarital. So, but yeah, so it's not
that needs to be on a cut. This is postmarital.
Right. But yeah, so I still get a little shy with him, but once I'm in it, I'm like, oh, okay. I got it. And I think for us as middle-aged mommies, sometimes we need to be aware of what we are, because it's like we take on these roles, right, of mother and wife, and it's who we are, right? But it's a role that a choice that we made, and now a role that we've taken on, and we forget the woman who was.
Yeah, we've
beforehand.
heard time after time women on this podcast talk about reinventing themselves and coming back to themselves after taking on a role.
Yeah, and I had to hold it up a little bit before I. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I didn't hold it up. I thought after marriage, I was like, I'm going to be in this.
I know you jumped right into another
I didn't
long
mean
committed
to.
relationship. She all booed up, wed up, always out the country, always out of town. Where's she at?
My boyfriend is amazing. I love me some him, and I honestly I did not expect it. We met. He's one of the producers on All American, and it was his first year. His first year was my third year, I think. And he was there, and he had on a mask because it was still kind of COVID-y time. So I knew who he was because I had Googled him. But I wasn't thinking of it like that. Because the script was really good, honestly. And I was like, who? I thought it was a woman, actually. Gotcha. I was like, who is Adrienne Dukes? And so, yeah.
Not the name drop.
I know. We might have to cut that. But yeah, so we met, and he kept coming over and giving other actors notes. He didn't give me any notes, just so you know. I didn't get any notes. My performance was... But
those chops came out again.
I'm joking, but he didn't give me notes. And so he kept coming over and giving other actors notes, but he was like kind of next to me, and I was like okay, like I wasn't really paying attention. And he was super professional and super cool. And we ended up finding out we have the same manager. Well, he told me, he knew. And our manager is not, we don't have, our manager is amazing, but he's not like, at the time, it was just him. He wasn't really a part of like a big firm, like where it would be, CAA or somebody you would be like, well, of course you guys would have the same manager. And so I was like, what? Right. Adam's your manager? Yeah. And so we kind of bonded a little bit over that. And we joked and saw that our humor was on very similar wavelengths. And so then Instagram, because I was thotting it up on Instagram, and he couldn't resist my scrunch booties. And he
wait, did the scrunch booties come out on this?
No, they did, but they were after. No, girl, the sad thing. Wait, did the scrunch booties make it? One of my posts made it to the shade room, and I was like, oh shit. It's funny because you do stuff, and I'm in my little bubble, and I have a bit of followers, but it's not like millions, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think I'm in my own little.
But you're one of those people where people think they know you because they grew up with you.
They do.
You're on their TV.
They do.
Yeah.
They
a long time.
They get comfortable, and sometimes I love it because some people I'm like, hey girl, whatever. Yeah. But when people feel like they own me or they then I'm like, back the fuck up. But yeah, so he couldn't resist my Instagram charm. And he sent me a message, but honestly, he sent me a message just kind of responding to a video, a clean video, not a booty video. And then we started going back and forth and learning about his children, him learning about my children, and our situations are so similar. Mm-hmm. He had been through a divorce. I was going through a divorce. And so we just kind of kept it as friends. And then I talked to my ex-husband, talked to Kevin about it. And
yeah, let me tell you, this has been
it's so weird.
Pretty seamless.
Well, not to us.
Yeah, pretty seamless.
Very mature.
And let me tell you, when Alexis had her ex-husband and her current boo at family gathering, everything is cool.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And his children.
Yeah,
two of
it all worked out.
His daughter wasn't with us, Michaela, wasn't with us, but his two sons were with us at Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And people adjust. They adjust and they move on. And it is what it is.
And Kevin and I talked at the beginning of our divorce when I, said what I wanted to do. I told him, I said, we get to decide how this goes. Mm-hmm. We don't have to Will and Jada. No disrespect to Will and Jada because I love them. Right. But I was like, it ain't got to be crazy. Like we ain't going on trips with our, But at the end of the day, we get to decide.
Yeah, and it helps the kids.
Yeah,
I'm always about the kids.
Yeah. And they, even though the divorce part is still hard, no matter what, it's it's hard. You're in different homes, and But my daughter will even be like, you guys are so weird. Because she'll see us, me and her dad, laughing still. And we still talk about parenting because we're co-parents and we're still
But that's, if you have to do it, that's how it needs to be done because it sucks when one parent can't be over here because this one's mad, I'm not showing up because all that stuff sucks. So.
Right.
And I have to, my boyfriend and I, we decorated his oldest son who is 20, is he 22 now? He might be 22 now.
He's a college student.
Yeah, he's a college student, but he had an apartment, and so we flew out to Atlanta and decorated his place. Oh, nice. And so his mom, came and was there and helping us, and and his sister. And so I think it's important. We all, before this happened, we all met at different times. Like, I had, we went to Starbucks, and my boyfriend and I sat down with Kevin, with my ex-husband. And then when we were in Atlanta, my boyfriend and I sat down with his ex-wife and his daughter, and
now who thought of that though? Because that's a very mature thing to do.
Mature.
I did.
Who said, okay, this is how we're going to go about this?
Right.
I did.
Oh, that was you. Oh.
I did with Kevin, and then my boyfriend was like, would you feel comfortable? I would love for you to meet Melanie, because the thing is, we're going to be around each other's children, right?
And after how much time though? Because you don't want to do that week 1, week 2.
Yeah, no, you gotta make sure you're serious.
Yeah.
We knew that we were locked in.
Okay.
We
So once you know that this is the one you're going to be around, then.
Well, I mean, when you're thinking about introducing kids to, I think it's important if you know that you're about to have this person around your kids, to make sure that the other parent is aware of who's going to be around their kids.
Right.
Because there's some crazy stuff going on in this world. So you just gotta.
Absolutely.
But and it might not work for some people. Listen, if you got some crazies going on, everybody has to be in a mature space and be willing to, move.
And I think that comes when you don't have a lot of anger or resentment.
Yeah, right.
If it's clean, then it's easy to do. But if you got a bunch of nonsense going on, then it ain't happening.
And my parents still ain't trying to do the same. I still can't. And I mean, and it's hard even as adults.
Yeah.
It's hard when you can't invite both of your parents to an event, to weddings, to babies, to graduations, it's difficult. And so I admire people that are able to be mature about it. And I know that can only happen if there wasn't just some crazy, if you like getting your ass beat, you ain't trying to be chilling with this fool.
Right.
That's completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
But when you're able to be mature and your kids are able to see that, it's so important.
Yeah.
It's so important. And it'll go a long way later.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you tell your 14-year-old self?
What I told my daughter, probably, which is kind of an honor to have a daughter who is experiencing, she's 15, but experiencing her teenage years. And side note, it's so crazy. She was dealing with some stuff yesterday, and she was crying all day, and she called me, and I was getting my hair done, so I couldn't go to her. And I was like, I gotta get this installed because I gotta work on Monday, so I don't know what to do. And so she called me, she was like, can you just stay on the phone with me? And so she cried, and she would not let me get off the phone. I was like, I'm getting my hair blow dried, I'll call you right back. She's like, no, just stay on the phone. No, just stay here. I was like, okay, I'm here. But then right after I got my hair done, I was like, I'm coming to pick you up.
Right.
You're gonna, you'll be with me, because she was at her dad's house and he was at work. And so I got her, and then we were in the car, and we're, talking about the situation she was dealing with and talking about stuff she's going through. And then she goes, Mom, I just like being in your presence. And I was like, Lord help me, Jesus, not make this a dramatic moment. And I was like, okay. And she was like, because I was really sad. And she was like, and the stuff is still going on, but I feel like I can deal with it now.
Yeah.
She was like, I feel empowered. And I was like, so I think it's not even what I would tell my 15-year-old self. It's what I would tell my 40-year-old self to think about my younger self. Allow the mistakes, allow all of the issues that make you who you are. I was so hard on myself growing up, and every mistake, every hiccup, I was like, I'm the worst, and I want to kill myself.
And I remember when you used to do homework, this is part of your personality, because she used to do homework, and if she had great penmanship, something was wrong, she would ball up the entire thing and just like throw it.
I
so
love those students. Ooh,
yeah,
perfectionists.
Yeah, that's part of your makeup.
Yeah. So it's important though. The mistakes are more important than the successes, I think. And so now looking back at a lot of the things I did, even in my 20s and my 30s, you know, I was so hard on myself, and now I'm just like, wow, I needed that. I needed that to get to a place of comfort and to know what I want, know what I don't want, know what works for me, what doesn't work for me. And so I'm kind of in this space now where I'm like, Lex, just let it flow. Like, let it flow. If you're not wronging anybody, right? Like, don't go out of your way to wrong somebody. But as far as your life is concerned, let it flow. Sometimes you're going to make some decisions that your mama wouldn't be proud of, right? But you need to make those choices so that, because your mom already made those choices. That's why she's telling you not to, right?
Absolutely.
But she made them and now has the wisdom. So sometimes you have to, you know, if you can gain from the wisdom of those before you, it's great. But sometimes you have to step in shit to know it stinks.
That's true. Yeah, it's true, because there's freedom in that. Because I've been on the opposite end where I'm so cautious that I don't let myself make mistakes, and then I regret it. I'm like, I should have done it, and that's part of what brought this podcast. Was like, I'm just gonna do it. I don't care. We're just gonna figure it out, and we're gonna do it.
And my perfectionist self was like, huh?
And look, you're always the fan favorite. Everybody loves the
I'm like, wait a minute, but what about this? But what about that?
Yeah. I was like, we two go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. If we don't do it, we're never gonna do it. Yeah. So now Casey has gotten a little bit of taste of acting. Yeah. What have you told her? And are you cautious about doing it?
I'm very cautious about her doing it. And her first guest spot is actually about to drop on Netflix pretty soon.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, it was her first audition too. Ooh. And I'm really excited for people to know what it is, because it's special. Yeah. It's special to all of us. But yeah, she wants to do it, you know, because she does passion play with my mom, and so she's, you know, used to being on stage, and she does a great job to where I'm like,
yeah, she's comfortable.
She's so comfortable. And my mom started bringing it up to me, like, Casey's an actress, and I was like, don't say it, la 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 la. But it's there, and so when this audition came up, kind of similarly, I was like, I can't not let her do it. And I was actually gone. My boyfriend and I took his daughter and her friend to Coachella. So I'm like on the phone coaching her, and on FaceTime coaching her for her audition. Everybody's asleep. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, okay, babe, let's go. Right. But, you know, she was comfortable. She got it. And now she really wants to do it. And I'm like, I told her, I said, you have a gift. Naturally, you have a gift.
It's in her blood.
Yeah, and she has to get comfortable. You know, she's still like nervous, but but I told her I want to know that she's more confident in who she is before the industry tells her who she is.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So that's why you hear a lot of actors and actresses saying, "Oh, I want them to wait until they're 18 because they've gotten a chance to be a kid and all that stuff before." Yeah, and I think it's important. Comes. You know, you have a 15-year-old daughter as well. Yeah. So when you are, and you have a 15-year-old, so when you're dealing with these young people, they're so moved by what everybody thinks, and it's just all like this big. Everybody is so what's the word? Not inspired. Everybody is so influenced. Thank you. By everybody else, and I just want to make sure that she has a strong sense of self. That right now is my job. Yeah. And even though she gets frustrated with me, and sometimes I feel like the mom on Sister Act too. I'm not denying her gift, right? But she's like, "Mama, I want to sing," and I'm like, "No, you don't." Hi, Cheryl. But
but it's nice. I don't know if you've experienced this with your daughter, but I have 3 children, and I have 2 girls and a boy. And my oldest daughter, like, people are always like, "Oh, that's your mini me, that's your mini." And I'm like, she's so much better than me. Mm-hmm. Like, that's like Dawn 2.0. Like, she's the girl that I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's so confident. She's so smart. She's so sassy. She's so just
got it together.
everything. And I feel so proud that I was able to do this, even though I don't feel responsible because she was just born like that, you know. But it's so nice to see that when you're raising children and they are just so much better than you. And that's what I want, like for all to be able to like.
Well, that's the goal, right?
Yeah, she's so much.
And it's
better.
not so much giving them all the stuff I hate that. We're
no,
like, I'm gonna give them everything I didn't have, and you have a
not.
bunch of spoiled brats.
No,
But you raised
not.
them to be.
You nurtured her to be that.
Yes,
Like you
and to be able to get those phone calls.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to get those calls, and when I dropped her off at school, I was prepared to be dramatic. I was prepared to be like, ah! And I didn't at all because I felt like my husband and I prepared her.
Right,
like we did everything we needed to do to be able to drop her off and know that she was going to be okay. So when I do get the calls, like she called me at work the other day, like FaceTime, and I'm like, oh shit, what's wrong? You know? and so I'm like, I'm in a meeting, like what's going on? But she just needed mommy.
Yeah.
You know, she just needed to tell me. And I'm so old fashioned. I think that's part of too why I don't do the booty shaking because
You would be touching your pearls and twerking at the same time.
Right. Like maybe that's what I
She'd be like,
put on some
hallelujah.
pearls. So, but when she calls me, she's so comfortable. She's like using profanity and so I want to say like, girl, what do you think you're talking about? But I have to stop myself because I know that this is who, and she feels comfortable,
Right.
and she's sharing things with me, and I'm always like, he's a clown, leave him alone. You know, she's usually about a boy.
Right.
So even when she called me the other day, I'm like, girl, I know you're not calling me about a boy. I'm at work. Let me call you back. But even with that, but then she's texting me. I was like, but wait a minute. So tell me what. So
right.
He did what?
No.
I'm like in the meeting with my supervisor, like. Text me. I can't FaceTime you. But I was like, oh, he
Wait, you showed a FaceTime? I love it.
She
not even the phone
me.
call, it's FaceTime.
No, she FaceTime me at work.
It was serious.
It was so serious.
Your
And she
face.
was giving me like blow by blow. I was like, oh, I'm text like, oh, hell no. You know?
That sounds like
so
mine,
that
too.
yeah, she's so spicy. She's like a size 0, but she's telling me, she's like, and I slapped him. I'm like, you did what?
And she violent.
I'm like, what minute? Like,
I slapped.
yes. I said, ooh, I didn't know. I'm literally like touching my pearls again. But just to have that relationship is so important because I didn't tell my parents
Nothing.
damn.
Nothing.
I didn't tell them.
They also didn't want to know. They weren't asking that.
I don't know that I want to know.
See, that's me too.
But I'm glad she tells
Right.
me.
I'm very much an ignorance is bliss kind of mom. Like, I don't need, no, when my
But you're that mom though.
You're comfortable. When she first came home, like her first break, and she starts telling me all this stuff, I said, Maya, I said, I appreciate that you trust me to share these things. I said, but small doses, please. Small doses.
But
I want to share
Oh, right,
with you
because
every-
you're dealing with like adult stuff. I'm still in the teenage stuff.
No. I was just like, small dose. You don't have to tell me everything today.
Right.
Yeah.
You're going to be here for 2 weeks, right? Like, just give it to me, little bit at a time. I'm very much ignorance is bliss. Like,
And then you know all their friends' drama too. That's the one that, like Casey
Everybody.
tells me, everybody's stuff.
Everybody.
I'm like,
the
she
girl
did what?
drama
Yeah.
starts in elementary and just keeps on going.
Yeah.
But I always tell them you only need 1 or 2 good friends. You don't need a whole crew.
Yeah.
Just 1 or 2 is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy.
I'm like, I have to fake it sometimes because on the inside I'm like, oh Jesus, give me
Right.
strength. But then
Cringe.
I'm saying to her like, and then what? And she
Right.
did what? How did she respond?
You really acting.
How did she respond?
You really acting.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like but it's great when they can tell you stuff, and it's great when they feel safe. And what's so interesting is the 3 of us sitting here have that relationship with our daughters.
Yeah.
And you know, like the biggest thing for me with my child is her understanding that she can make choices. You can make choices. The first thought might not always be it. The second thought might not always be it. But there are choices. Not for her to be indecisive, but for her to know that just because she feels like ooh, that might be nice. Right. And that's what we were learning with this situation now, because she made an impulsive decision and then realized later there was a bigger picture. And she's like, Mom, what do I do? And so, and my goal, I had to learn with her, because we weren't having the greatest relationship a year or two ago.
Yeah, that middle school time, they crazy.
Yeah, it was rough, especially right after the divorce, because I think she because I'm the one who left, you know, and I think she kind of was like, why'd you do this to us? So, but it took some time, and it took me understanding that I had to respect her journey. Even though a lot of it, I'm like, oh my God, this is a mess, and I would do this. I had to stop trying to fix her, and I had to start preparing her so that she could make choices.
That's really good.
Yeah. That's where I am now. Like, okay,
because you can't fix it forever. And at some point, they got to figure things out.
Yeah. Right. And they, if I wasn't a safe space for her, she'd still do it anyway. She'd still do all the stuff, right? So me being able to know what's going on and help kind of plant seeds of, you know, so she can make her own choices and recognize what works for her and what doesn't. That's what I need to do at this point. Because being a teenager in 2024,
shit, a whole other thing.
It is.
Can you imagine?
No. And then parenting teenagers in 2024.
It's a mess.
Right.
It's different than our kids. I mean, our parents dealing with us. They didn't know where we were half the time.
Right.
But now we can, you know.
You were my safe space. You and Tina.
We can put trackers on our kids. You can find out all their business on social media.
Yeah.
You know, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. You know, it's, whew. But I think it's funny that they think they're smarter than us.
They do.
Oh yeah.
You know, or that they're doing something new. I'm like, girl, please. Been there, done that. I did it way better than you too.
Right.
Like, and there was no evidence.
Right.
There was no evidence.
Listen.
Okay.
I'd be at Tina's house and I'd get a phone call. I mean, my mom would call. I was supposed to be at Tina's house, but I'd be with my ex-husband now. I'd be and so Mom would call. I hope Mom doesn't watch this because she doesn't know this. But Mom would call me, and then I would call Tina on three-way.
Of course.
And I'd be like, put the phone down and be in the background, and then I'd talk to Mom.
Ooh, yeah, Tina's the one that gonna get in trouble, not you.
Sorry, T. Sorry, T. I love you. You were my safe space.
That's so funny.
But for real, and Nakia used to let me stay at the teen center when I was at middle school.
Elementary school.
You remember when I liked the boy Jerron?
Oh yeah.
And oh my God.
Used to see, because when we had Tina on the podcast, remember I told you she was the worst big sister ever?
Yeah.
She was so mean. She knows this. We're very close now.
Right.
But so when Alexis came around, I was like, I'm going to be the best big sister ever. I drove her all over Yes. I was like, I'm going to do all the things that Tina didn't do for me for her. So I used to drive her everywhere.
And Tina did them for me too. I think she learned from her mistakes.
Yes, Tina developed into a wonderful older sister now.
She really is
the absolute best.
She's
but the grown-up days.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I had you talk about the without a trace. I had that a lot. But
doing all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But God would get me. God would get me and all my sneakiness. Like when I couldn't do drugs.
Do you remember that story? I remember that story.
Wait. Lord have mercy.
What is
so Dad had to come. What time is it? Because I'm tripping. Like I don't have to go pick up my son.
Okay, we got 5 minutes.
Okay. But I decided that I was going to go out with some people. And there was this group of white boys. And they were like a singing group at the time. Not NSYNC, not Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
But I don't think they ever came out. But anyway, so we all were hanging out, and a couple of my friends. And they were staying somewhere in the valley. Mm-hmm. And so we all go over there. And they're smoking, and they have the bong going. And I've never really been into drugs or anything like that. But I decided that, they had orange juice in the bottom of the bong. And so I'm like, oh, it's sweet. Like, I want to try it.
Yeah, Alexis will try anything.
I must. And so I tried it once. And God said, So apparently the weed was laced with something. And I thought I was Superwoman.
Wow.
I thought I was Superwoman, but I forgot how to talk. And I just remember the first thing, I was hitting the bong, And then I remember the next thing was me sliding on my butt down the stairs.
Like William.
Because I couldn't, right? I slid, I glid, I fell, I tumbled down the stairs. No, but I decided, no, this was not an involuntary like Williams was. Mine was voluntary. I literally got on my butt because it was the only way I was going to make it to the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I called our dad. Right. Well, first of all, I was trying to call our pastor. This was the middle of the night. It's like 3 a.m. It's like 3 a.m. I needed to get as close to Jesus as I could. I was trying to call Bishop. And so but I forgot his number. I couldn't remember him and Lady Audrey's number, right? And so I called Mom and Dad at 3 o'clock in the morning to say,
the most dramatic story ever.
Can I please have Bishop's number? Because I forgot it.
Wait a minute, I didn't know that part. That's how you called him? Because you wanted to know the number? You was really high.
I forgot the number. And so I called them and wake them up to get Bishop's number. Call Bishop, and I'm like, I am at such and such. I don't know what's happened. I took blah, 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 blah. Next thing I know, Bishop and Dad come, and I was so out of it. And I'm telling you, middle of the night, I'm so out of it. And I just remember Dad tying my shoes, and he was tying them so tight. He's like, he was mad. And then I remember they had to carry me. So Dad is carrying me into the elevator, and we're in the elevator, and Bishop goes, yeah, she high.
Yeah, he knew. Wait, Bishop came with them? They came together?
They met, I guess.
That's hysterical.
Goodness.
So my pastor, our bishop, and my dad came and got me, and I have not done a drug since, okay? I drank, but listen, I was
so
done.
Funny. Okay, so to wrap this up, this
Sorry.
will love that stuff. We got a quick rapid fire for you. Ready?
Oh, wait, what's that mean?
It means just the first thing that comes off the top of your head. You know, you're a treasure of the 90s. And people want to know these things. Okay, you ready?
Is it one word or just period?
Just go with the flow. Okay, what song do you listen to on repeat?
Something by SZA.
Heels or flats?
Now flats.
Window, seat, or aisle?
Window.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Shaking my ass.
What's one thing people don't know about you?
That I'm shy.
Oh, here we go with the shy thing. TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram.
What makes you feel the most inspired?
Love.
How do you start your day?
In my bed. With my dog. And then my children. No, it's normally my children coming and saying, I'm hungry. Because they wake up at like the crack of dawn. And I'm like, it's still kind of dark outside. Food can wait. Food is for daytime.
What's the current screensaver on your phone?
My kids.
Aww. And that is Alexis Fields, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us.
Thank you.
You'll have to come back.
Yes, you do,
so
because
much.
you're the best guest ever.
With the booty crunch leggings.
I know.
Oh, I'm bringing a pair for you and for you.
We should all do a pole dancing class together
we
to bring
should.
out your shyness.
Please do.
We should. I've never done one before. Or we should do a heels class.
Yes, let's do it.
But it has to be like a slow heels class. My memory's not as good as it used to be. Because when they be like, legs and bop and bop.
The choreography.
I'm like,
You said slow.
I'm like, was it legs open and close the knees? And
we can be like, oh, my back, wait, my
Right.
knees.
And my hips.
can't. There should be a middle-aged mom
Yes.
heels class.
No, because then that makes you feel old. You might as well go to Pilates.
Shoot.
No, I just needed to move around
embrace it.
Pilates. My boyfriend does Pilates. I think he just goes to look at some ass. I don't know. But he's like, oh yeah, I go to look at all the older white ladies' ass. But he swears that it loosens him up. But nothing loosens you up like I'm gonna have Meg the Stallion knees well into my 50s. I don't know what y'all doing. But right now my knees crack when I'm on top. I don't like it. I gotta play the music so that
knees crack.
You gotta play the music and ride to the
crack.
beat. No, the music can go to the beat so he can't hear the crack. It's like it's going with the drum.
That's not right.
With the cymbal.
Something ain't right.
Right.
Get that checked out. All All right, you guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and catch us on YouTube. You know, all our episodes are on YouTube, and you can see my brilliant, beautiful little sister there.
Yay.
Ta-ta, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.